at Ibrox. In case you've just come in, we've just been given the teams. Mark, let's have a look at the Rangers side this afternoon. Now, there it is. Is that as you would have imagined they would line up this afternoon?
I would have thought so. You know, I mean, the team really picks itself. I mean, the experience is there, all the big game playing. Alan McLaren's there. You know, just set up perfect. I think if Walter could have had that, you know, yesterday or the day before,
that's the one he would have chosen.
That was the one he'd have gone for.
And that was the side, Steve, which won at Motherwell last week.
I would have thought maybe he may just have gone for the experience of McCoist today.
Yeah, as opposed to keeping him on the bench.
Yeah, I thought he may have just done that.
Yeah.
He's obviously scored bags of goals against everybody, and psychologically he may have been somebody to put on there and snatch something in the first 20 to 25 minutes. That was the only thing I would have said may have done.
Or the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It can work both ways, can't it?
It's been said, Mark, that this might be his last game today at Ibrox. Would you go with that, or do you think he'll be back?
No, I think if you know, if everything goes the way Alistair wants it to, you know, contractual-wise, I think he'll still be there. I mean, if everybody comes in between, then there won't be a problem. But I can still see Alistair being there.
And you think he'll stay?
Yeah.
This is another part about playing him from the start. He's got not that he's got an awful lot to prove, but today's a big day for him.
Yes.
With the contract talks and everything else, it may have just been a little bit of motivation, a little bit of something to push him along.
Yeah,
may have been.
You played for Aberdeen, Steve. Let's see how they line up this afternoon. Now we have
all-round ability is. I mean, to be fair, I think he's lost a bit of his pace, which he'll admit to, but his other attributes more than make up for that little loss of pace. His strength, I think he's become more stronger on the ball. He's had to become more stronger because of that, the pace thing. But he still he loves his football. All he wants to do is get the ball and play football, whether it's out there or on the park. And
we hear constantly, Steve, he's great in the dressing room out there. His teammates adore him. I mean, he's up all the time.
Yeah, well, he'll fit right into the Ibrox dressing room, I would imagine, from the stories we hear. But guys like that have got to have a release valve, and I'm sure the hijinks and the bits and pieces he gets up to is part of that release valve. There's a lot of pressure on him, and you must have a release.
Yep, well, that goes without saying. Yeah. What about David Robertson, formerly of Aberdeen, of course, Steve? He's back doing well with Rangers at the moment.
Yeah.
A very influential player.
Very well, even more so with Laudrup. They seem to link in tremendously well. He gets on the end of Laudrup's passes as if it's telepathy. They work really well together, and he's a really influential player for Rangers.
I think he's the most influential player I mean, you have Laudrup and Gascoigne, but if he's on his game, then he can influence the whole turnout of a match. I think if he gets forward and exploits opposition fullbacks and gets in behind, you know, he can pull teams to pieces. And you would have thought he should have been in the Scotland side. Yeah, I really can't understand why he's not, because I think he's by far the best left back, especially the way Scotland would like to play. I think, you know, like playing going forward, and he's a perfect example of that. The attacking fullback, you know, he's very fast, very strong in the tackle, and he'll get forward and he can score a goal. So why is he not there, Steve?
I don't pick the team, Jim. I don't know. We'd have to ask Craig Brown. But as Mark said, he's an influential player. If you could stick him in a Scotland team and he did the same things for them as he did for Rangers, then he'd be influential there. He's got tremendous pace, puts in a good cross, and he gets into areas where fullbacks don't normally get into. So he's got something a little bit different from other fullbacks. You'll be pleased to know your old chum Andy Goram's having another really good season, Mark. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, we've said it so often. The guy plays at the highest level. Well, it doesn't surprise me, because I mean, I've played against a lot of world-class goalkeepers, trained against them and what have you, and he's in the top one or two without a question of a doubt. I mean, he's just brilliant. I think he's one of the best anyway. Even in training, he's very difficult to beat. You know. I've got to say, Jim, that when I was at Hibs and Andy was at Hibs, he was the same saves he's making now he's pulling off at Hibs. Yeah. He had more to do, obviously, being at Hibs and playing against clubs like Rangers and Celtic. But his saves were outstanding, out of this world, some of them. And even in training, he's superb character as well. He keeps it going. I think being at Rangers as well, he's out of the game for long periods of time. So it's more difficult for him. How switched on he is. I mean, as you say, he's had lots of practice through his career at keeping the ball out the back of the net, but coming here is a different thing for him. Sure. You know, he's up there. With the European Championship approaching, Steve, somebody like Scott Booth wants to make a big impression this afternoon. Yes, Stuart.
Walter Smith, on the day he can equal Bill Struth's record of 5 straight championships, and his own right as manager has summed it up. our most crucial match of the season. Rangers going, of course, as well for 8 in a row, and Smith, of course, has been involved in all of them. A tremendous atmosphere has built up here at Ibrox, a full house, of course, 47,000 people expected in the stadium. Many of them here, as you can see, to enjoy themselves. Lovely sunny day. So let's have another look at the teams. Rangers, first of all, as expected, they field the experienced lineup, which did such a solid job at Motherwell last week. Trevor Stephen will again fill the right area with Jury ahead of him supporting Anderson. Ali McCoist is on the bench if required. And a look at Aberdeen. Well, the Dons make a couple of changes from the team which drew with Hearts last week at Pittodrie. Gary Smith and Billy Dodds come back at the expense of Woodthorpe and Shearer. Alongside me, once again this afternoon, is Charlie Nicholas.
Yes, good afternoon, Jerry. Good afternoon, everyone. Must admit, the conditions are perfect for a game like today. Pitch is in excellent condition, and I think there's the majority of this ground's ready to party, Jerry.
Quite remarkable, Charlie. All these months on, just a point separating Rangers and Celtic at kick-off.
Yes, it's been a sensational season, with Celtic doing us a lot of favours in terms of at least pushing Rangers all the way in the title this season. I've seen some tremendous football also from Celtic and Rangers, but every time it comes to the crunch games, Rangers never disappoint anyone. They always seem to get the results.
And of course, Rangers do have 9 goals to their credit as well over Celtic.
Yeah, they do. I think every time. I mean, Celtic look back with disappointment, possibly after this match today. But Rangers have done it whenever called upon. They've scored more goals. They've been quite ruthless in some of the games this season. But also, when you have players like Gascoigne and Laudrup who can entertain, you know, you've got a very strong team there.
I mean, you just said there that they've shown this great desire, and it was very much in evidence last week in a match at Motherwell where people thought Rangers would drop points.
I think that was the one that we all had question marks against. You felt that maybe if they were going to slip up, it would be Motherwell. But they just gone with it. They got an early goal from Stuart McCall, and suddenly they never looked back. They just went on and wrapped the game up and never looked in any danger. And I would expect they'll be looking for the same thing today, an early goal to calm them down. Well,
we can see the Rangers players lining up in the tunnel. And really, you know, the Rangers side is strong now as it's perhaps been all season.
Yeah, I would think Mark Catley, I would agree with Mark. I think this is probably their strongest team. The only debate would maybe be McCoist and Anderson. But Anderson is on a high, 6 goals in 4 games. He's confident, so Rangers looking strong.
So they're moving forward now, and just listen to this. So a tremendous welcome for Rangers. Aberdeen coming out in front of their very small support. That ticker-tape welcome for Rangers, led out by Richard Gough, who's chasing his 8th consecutive championship medal. What a tremendous record. So it's going to be a big afternoon for the referee and linesman. The man in charge this afternoon is Les Mottram from Forth and Lanarkshire, and he's Scotland's representative at Euro 96, along with today's linesman Bobby Orr from Kilbarchan and John Fleming from Glasgow. And the 4th official is Hugh Dallas from Motherwell, who's the cup final referee. Well, this is Les Mottram's 10th Premier League game of the season. And for a highly experienced official, you'd like to see him handling more of these matches. 4 of them, incidentally, have involved Rangers, including their 1-0 win at Pittodrie last October. Well, there is great controversy goes on, Charlie, that a lot of people believe that the top referees should handle the top matches.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Playing in the 2nd division, you're only too aware when the top names come down and referee the games, you wonder who's going to be doing the top games on that weekend. But Les is a man who won't be messed about. If you give him any nonsense early doors, he won't hesitate in giving you the yellow card. And he thinks if he gets a grip of the game early on, it calms itself down.
Well, he certainly hasn't had to use a red card in his Premier Division matches this season, although he has booked Paul Gascoigne. And Gascoigne, of course, will be trying very hard today to stay out of any trouble, because, as we heard earlier, one booking puts them out of the Scottish Cup final. But this is a bigger match than anything else. Of that, there is no doubt. And there's no doubt that Aberdeen's recent away record has been poor. The last win coming at Tynecastle way back in February 10th. So they've got a lot to do here today in front of an intimidating audience. And no doubt the survivors from 1991 will remember what they had to go through that day. One of them, goalkeeper Michael Watt. Walter Smith has been asking all week for the Rangers support to get right behind the team and recreate the atmosphere of that day 5 years ago when Rangers won by 2-0. 2 goals by our studio guest, Mark Hateley. But Aberdeen certainly won't want a repeat of the humiliation they suffered at Celtic Park a few weeks ago when they lost by 5-0. Now, I spoke to some of the Rangers players yesterday and to Walter Smith this morning, and there's no doubt about it, the nerves are there, as you would expect, but they are fully focused. They know the importance of this afternoon. Celtic have chased them so hard, and yet Rangers have responded to every challenge. And in fact, the games at Pittodrie, they had to go there and battle very hard, and they won both of them by the narrowest of margins, 1-0. And the 6 points they picked up there have helped put them in this position today. Their destiny lies in their own hands. Here's John Brown looking for Anderson. Well, Anderson's made a terrific contribution. 6 goals in 6 games since arriving from Aalborg. And it's John Brown. Laudrup tries to get the touch there. And comes Robertson. This is McKimmie. He'll be hugely influential. In fact, remember Aberdeen losing him, injured in one of the matches against Rangers, and the Dons' defence really struggled thereafter. And here's Gordon Dury, who was in splendid form last week at Fir Park and is really pushing for a place in the Scotland squad, and he wins the corner kick.
Yeah, good play from Trevor Stephen, using his experience there. A nice pass to Dury, and now starting to put the pressure on Aberdeen.
And Goff and McLaren push into the Aberdeen area. It falls for Stuart McCall, who struck early last week. Here's Robertson giving cover across the back 4 area as the Rangers push players forward. And Windus quickly challenged. But that ball goes behind for the goal kick. But you can see the determination of Stuart McCall as Windus picked up the ball. McCall was right onto him, challenging.
Yeah, they won't give Aberdeen a minute of the ball if they possibly can. They'll try and harass them and try and get this early goal in the first 20-25 minutes to calm them down. And I think if they can get that first goal, they'll probably take and start to dominate the game from there. Also important for Aberdeen to try and go on the ball as much as they can.
The referee's unhappy about something. And he's calling over Scott Booth.
That's the early lecture I was warning you about before kick-off.
Here's Gascoigne. It's Robertson. Anderson. This is dodge now for Aberdeen, but again, Stuart McCall is in there. And it's Trevor Stephen. McLaren gets a touch to Laudrup. Trevor Stephen is wide right. And Laudrup tried to pick him out there. This is Gary Smith. Getting away from Laudrup, persistent play by Gary Smith. He only has Dodds in the middle. He's perhaps just run that too far ahead. And the sliding challenge goes in any case.
Great run from Gary Smith. I think he's mainly put in the left back position, Jerry. to combat the Trevor Stephen and Brian Laudrup situation for defensive reasons mainly. But he burst out, great run there.
Of course, Jury will push down that flank as well, whenever possible. So he's going to have a lot of work on his hands, but looking forward quite effectively there. This is Laudrup, showing good pace and control. But, only Anderson was ahead of him. So the midfield is tightly packed at the moment. And this is Windus for Aberdeen. Played through by Bernard. It's Windus again. A header from Booth. This is Rowson. Now it's McKimmie. Well, Booth, who's so good at making these runs. Gets into the wide areas. He gets in the cross, but in the end, there's no one there to take advantage, and it's an easy one for Andy Gorham.
I think they also for Booth. I think the two Aberdeen players, I think who'll try and influence this game are Windass and Booth. Booth to try and prove his fitness for their championships, and Windass, who's done well since he's came to Aberdeen. But I think in the big games, like the Celtic Rangers games, he's been a little disappointing.
Well, McKimmie there, almost caught by Bo Anderson. This is Rowson. Booth clattered there by Richard Gough. That's a free kick, and Richard Gough will have to be careful because apart from Gascoigne, Gough was also on the verge of missing the cup final. But as we said earlier, this is such a huge match for Rangers. It's Rangers ball. Scott Booth doesn't look too happy about the decision. It's Robertson who fires it forward, looking for Laudrup, but it's headed away by Ingles. This is Windus. Rowson. Caught there by Robertson, that's Gascoigne. And he gets a free kick. Gascoigne showing great confidence deep inside his own half. Challenged there illegally by Dean Windus.
He just wants the ball, Gascoigne. He'll take it in any area. He never ever hides from it. He always makes an angle, even in the deepest and the tightest of spaces. He just wants on the ball all the time.
This is Gough. Long one for Jury to chase. Urban who goes across to provide the cover. This is Jury. And the corner kick. So once again, Gordon Jury gets Rangers a corner in these early stages. Just coming up for 8 minutes of the match. There's Trevor Stephen. Well, he got in across with his left last week to tee up one of the goals. This is McCall. Takes a return from Gough. Gascoigne. Laudrup's wide. Still it's Gascoigne. Through for Anderson. That's a good ball. He drives it through. It takes a deflection. It's McCall battling again. It's away by McKimmie. This is Booth. Booth did well there under pressure. Touch on Windus. Through now for Dodds. Aberdeen are getting players forward here. Booth's on the right-hand side. Rowson's through the middle. Windus is arriving as well. The shot goes in there from Billy Dodds. And not a bad effort. But Aberdeen getting players forward there in some numbers. In the end, Dodds decided to have a blast himself. Just a warning for Rangers. They're not going to get it all their own way. And that brought Roy Aitken out onto the track side.
It's good play from Windass initially. He's involved again. He started the game quite promisingly for him. Sweeping out to the left, and suddenly Aberdeen had numbers going forward. Good break.
So the four stands here absolutely packed, and there are hundreds of people outside hoping against hope for tickets. Certainly Aberdeen have made a better start to this game than they did to the one against Celtic at Parkhead, where they were caught after just a couple of minutes by a Simon Donnelly header. And of course, the longer it takes Rangers to break them down, the more the pressure will build on the home side. And they've just got to hope that the crowd will show the necessary patience. And here's a man who never misses the big parties, John Brown. Takes a return from Laudrup. It's Goff. Brown clips it through, looking for Robertson. He's away again. And the challenge goes in. It's a corner kick. It was Brian Irvine who came across. But again, great pace from David Robertson. It's not to 60, isn't it, in a few seconds. Speeding forward on that left-hand side. And that gets the crowd going again. Once again, McLaren is there with Goff. Anderson is practically on the goal line. It's played shot by Gascoigne to McCall. Well, Trevor Stephen had found himself a bit of space to McCall's right and was looking for the ball. Touch from Goff. Now it's McCall. Getting away from Dodds and Windus. This is Anderson. Trevor Stevens on the right-hand side. And that goes out, and it's a Rangers ball. Indicates the referee. So once again, Goff moves forward. And it's the long one from Jury. Goff's up there. McCall gets a touch. On by Gascoigne, and Irvine intercepts. Now it's Glass, getting away from Jury. Through for Dodds. He controls it well in a tight situation. Good play by Stephen Glass. That's Bernard. Stuart McKimmy's in space on the right-hand side of the field as it's played to Irvine. Here's Windus. McKimmy's still got a bit of space, but Robertson's coming to shut him down. In comes John Brown. And it's a way to do it on such occasions. No messing about.
They want to keep the pressure out of their own half. Aberdeen started very brightly, defending well, looking better organised than we've seen them at Celtic Park a few weeks ago. But also looking fairly confident in the ball. The tension is in the air with the Rangers supporters. They want that goal, and Aberdeen giving nothing away so far.
Well, I think the reason that Walter Smith has stuck with John Brown these last few weeks is that, apart from Petrich's injury, he just saw there that he stands in no ceremony. If there is a problem, get it away.
I think he also likes a party at the end of the day and all, Jerry. He always seems to be round about, doesn't he?
But it's certainly not a day for Petrich dwelling on the ball. There are enough frayed nerves out there in the pitch and all around this stadium. Here's Gascoigne. It's Trevor Stephen. Well, this is another player that comes back to the parties as well. And they scored the championship winner at Tannadice a number of years ago. So much experience coming back into the side at exactly the right time. It's off to McLaren. Through for Stephen. Laudrup starts a run. Glass goes with him. Twisting and turning, and it goes behind for the corner kick. So Rangers forcing a few corners in this opening spell. Just over 14 minutes gone, and still no scoring here at Ibrox Stadium. Once again, the Rangers skipper is forward, and once again he's joined by Alan McLaren. And they've managed 8 goals between them, and 2 defenders. They're always a threat at the set pieces, especially when this man's swinging the ball a bit. Goff goes in for it. Irvin's there, and both players take a knock as McCall tries the effort, but both Goff and Irvin will require some treatment. And they both went for the corner from Paul Gascoigne. Goff seems to be okay, but Irvin certainly seemed to take the brunt of it as they both climbed for the ball.
Well, it's so typical of these two defenders, isn't it? Goff determined to get there. Big Brian Irvin, as stubborn as ever. Defended really well in the first part of this match, Brian Irvin. Knows that Goff is coming in behind him, prepared to take the knock. Now you see it.
Yeah.
Two of them, full-blooded, all the way.
So that's 15 minutes gone here. There's still no scoring, but sickening clash of heads there as the two defenders went for that corner kick, and of course the referee must stop the game, and the flow of blood must be stopped as well, otherwise the players will have to leave the field for further treatment.
It's mainly a flesh wound to these two. These two have had so many of these over their career. Every week they probably get these.
So Brian Irvin is having to leave the field. Richard Goff still receiving treatment. You can see how keen he is to get on with things. And doing a bit of do-it-yourself first aid. So Aberdeen are going to be reduced to 10 men. And Goff is calling for some bandaging as well. So the match about to restart with the goal kick. So Goff takes up his defensive station. Irvin is off. And Aberdeen will have to just reorganise for the moment. And a chance now for Rangers to take advantage. That was Goff starting that off. Well, Michael Watts had just 9 shutouts this season, 6 of them coming at Pittodrie. He's almost a decade with the Dons now. And it's just recently he's managed to make himself number 1. So free kick to the Dons. John Ingles has moved forward, and they got him. Looks on anxiously. McKimmie makes a run inside the box. It's away by Brown. Picked up by Jury. Gascoigne just drops that one there across towards Trevor Stephen. Well struck pass by McLaren across to David Robertson. That's McCall. Laudrup calls for it. Through now for Robertson. He's away again. Delivers the early cross, and it's Stephen Glass who whips it away, with Gordon Dury coming in on the far side. Well, again, the combination of Laudrup and Robertson, the early cross from him. Dury was coming in and Glass responded. It's yet another corner kick to Rangers. And it's Gascoigne who strikes it. The goalkeeper commits himself. And really toiled at that one. Didn't look that difficult a ball for him. Some nerves there from him, and Rangers coming close again. But Richard Goff claims that he was impeded. So Gascoigne sending the ball in, and the goalkeeper really making a bit of a meal of that. As we watch the replay, Brian Irvin has come back onto the field. Laudrup sent that one in there. Goff was coming in, so too was Anderson. And Goff felt that Rangers should have got something out of that. But it's Aberdeen now pushing forward. They're back to full strength. This is Rowson. McKimmie. It's blocked by Brown, and that's a corner to Aberdeen. Aitken making his feelings felt. 19 and a half minutes gone now. Still no scoring here at Ibrox Stadium. Perhaps a chance for the Dons. And it's Goff who's here, and it's Irvine! And Aberdeen sensationally take the lead. Well, Brian Irvine, who had just come back onto the field, slams the ball beyond Andy Gorham. 19 minutes gone. The corner kick driven in. And Rangers will be unhappy about the loss of this one. Goff failed to get it away. Irvine drove it right through Andy Gorham.
Well, it's a great cross from Glass. He's teasing the defence. He gets the break of the ball, Irvine, but he's put it in the back of the net. He's had a great start to the match. Just coming back on after probably getting stitches in a headwind. Just gets power in his left foot. Andy Gorham can do nothing about it other than knock it over Trevor Stevens' head. Great start from Aberdeen. They've looked threatening at times without causing too much problem in front of the goal.
Well, that certainly wasn't in the script. But Aberdeen stung by the criticism after their match against Celtic at Parkhead, and have certainly come here to give Rangers a game of it. But here's Laudrup. Laudrup trying to find an opening. Again, Rangers have the corner, and they'll want to get right back into this as quickly as possible. Well, Goff will be unhappy that he failed to get that cross away. Here's Gascoigne now. Can he produce some magic? Still it's Gascoigne. Oh, yes! A tremendous goal by Gascoigne! The perfect reply from Paul Gascoigne within 2 minutes. It's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Laudrup it was who struck the corner kick. Just look at Gascoigne here. Past Dodds, past Windus, and past the goalkeeper. Fantastic play by Paul Gascoigne. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1.
Well, you say before the game you look for big-time players. You take a blow like going one down when the tension's on the air. It's absolute quality from Gascoigne. Big-time player. Excellent skill, great finish. He's came back to Rangers' rescue.
Well, Rangers respond like the champions they are. You just get the feeling this is going to be a cracker of a match. Well, Gascoigne, there didn't seem to be very much on from there on the edge of the penalty area. He waltzed by Dodds, then away from Windus, and then picked his spot beyond Michael Watt. A moment of real magic. Now then, can Aberdeen cause another stir here? That one well off target.
Quite a wasted attempt from Windass. He does produce a good right foot shot every now and then, but it's a long way out to beat Andy Gorham from that distance or even test him. An absolute quality goal from Gascoigne. They're looking for something. I think he says it. I think they have to get in the game right away in case the tension builds, and Gascoigne's produced again.
So, Paul Gascoigne, his 17th goal of the season. That's Laudrup playing it through, looking for Anderson. McKimmy's there, though. Well, Paul Gascoigne will be stepping up to collect an award later on this evening of that. I don't think there's any doubt. And he's maybe just scored the goal of the season, certainly in the eyes of the Rangers fans. That was something a bit special. He scored a wonderful goal here against Bucharest in the Champions League. But that's one that the Rangers fans will remember for a long time. Meanwhile, Walter Smith has gone down trackside. That's through for Laudrup. Lovely early touch by him. Terrific awareness. The ball played through to Jury. Anderson's in the middle. Gascoigne's arriving. Trevor Stevens there in support. Still it's Jury. McCall's on the edge of the area. So too is McLaren. Well, Alan McLaren certainly packs a good shot. Jury had some options. He had Trevor Stephen supporting him. Stuart McCall was just outside the area. In came McLaren to try his luck at goal. He's managed 3 so far this season. And today his 48th appearance. He's missed just 3 matches. I think it's worth pointing out as well about McLaren. Although he was sent off, Charlie, in the Champions League, he's had 1 booking, you know, in almost 50 matches this season, which is fantastic for a defender. It
really is. I mean, I played against him many times, and he was always the type who was known as quite an aggressive defender, but he wasn't particularly dirty or clumsy in his challenges. I think he just gets on with it efficiently, and I think it proves it when you see he's only had 1 booking. It's a marvellous record for a defender.
And there he is, providing the crossfield pass to John Brown. This is Robertson trying to go on the outside of McKimmie, his former teammate. Trevor Stephen sticks in a foot, but it's away by Booth, who's back helping his defence. Now it's Goff for Rangers to McLaren. It's easily cut out by Bernard. And goes McCall again. He's having a splendid match in the middle of the field.
Well, the Gascoigne goal, Jerry, has certainly lifted Rangers. They've up to pace now, and have pinned Aberdeen back in their own half.
So Bo Anderson, who's made such a splendid start to his Rangers career, including a hat-trick against Partick Thistle. He's in the middle there, so too is Goff, but it's Irvin who gets the touch. Royson's there as well. In comes Robertson. Just nicks it away from Windus. A touch from Goff, who's still well forward. This is Brown. Across to McLaren. Trevor Stevens ahead of him. Gascoigne's calling for it as well. He plays along when looking for Goff. It takes a deflection though. And McKimmie had to remain calm there. He knew a pass to the goalkeeper could cause a problem. It's a good skill by Glass. Dodds goes in as well, and Dodds takes a hefty knock. Well, there was some advantage to Aberdeen there, but the referee has decided to give the free kick, and Dodds certainly took a couple of hefty ones. He's caught on the way down here as well. And there's a word of warning for the player who we're just praising. Every sportsmanship.
I was waiting on a yellow coming out there.
I think the referee was quite right. Although the ball had broken to Glass, Dodds was really taken out of the play, and there wasn't a great advantage in it. But no great advantage taken from the set piece. Irvin sends it forward again. That comes off Stephen. It's touched on by Dodds. Sent out towards Jury. Up by Bernard. Jury digs in well. This is McCall. Good ball through for Laudrup, who's onside. Anderson's in the middle. Jury's there as well. The cross comes in, and it's headed behind by Ingles.
That was a superb ball from McCall. Great vision. And Laudrup, we see, he's teasing defenders and goalkeeper again. And he's praying for Anderson really to get in the end of that knock in the net. Good defending from Aberdeen again.
So another corner. 2 Rangers, just over 28 minutes gone. And it's 1 goal apiece here at Ibrox. Once again, Goff is well forward. Irvin's with him. It's Irvin who gets it away. McCall's there. Now the Rangers fans claim that McCall was impeded. And, Scott Booth went in, but it's Aberdeen's ball. Long kick by Watt. Dodge goes into challenge. Goff wins it. There's Brown. Gascoigne. It's McLaren. Laudrup. Through for Gascoigne. And he's well challenged. There's Irvin. Brown's there, providing cover, so too is Robertson. McKimmie. Rowson. Good starts a run. He dodges in the middle. Glass is arriving on the far side, but it's McCall now. Through for Jury. Gascoigne. Rangers really want to finish this all off today. They don't want to be going to Rugby Park next week. Still having to achieve something, and still giving Celtic some hope. So it's half an hour gone here at Ibrox Stadium. The Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Aberdeen taking the lead after 19 minutes through Brian Irvin, following a corner kick. Left foot shot going past Andy Gorham. And then just 2 minutes later, a tremendous goal by Paul Gascoigne, getting away from two defenders and beating Michael Watt. And here come Aberdeen through Dean Windus. That's McKimmie. Well, Booth's got a lot to do here, and in fact he's fouled by John Brown. The free kick not too far outside the penalty area. Goff and Brown both challenging. Once again, Brian Irvin's up there, moving about just outside the 6-yard area. It's Robertson who gets it away. McKimmie's header falls into the path of McCall. So Glass. Oh, and that could be a real problem here for Aberdeen. Rowson struggles, and Laudrup almost got away. It was Gary Smith who came across and gave the cover, but Rowson getting into all kinds of trouble. Laudrup pounced, and Gary Smith was there to rescue the Dons.
Good covering again from Gary Smith. Him and Irvin in particular have been outstanding defensively for Aberdeen so far.
And again, Goff and McLaren are there. And again, it's Gascoigne to take it. It's played short to McCall. Gascoigne again. Gascoigne against Dodds. Getting in a decent cross. Well, that's quite remarkable. McLaren can't believe it. So unlucky. But Gascoigne did ever so well to get in the cross.
Great delayed cross. McLaren does superbly. Just holds the defender off. Big Brian Irvin, I think it is, again mopping it up. Tremendous ability again from Gascoigne hitting the byline. That's McLaren leaning into the defender.
Well, everybody just stopped there. They were certain the ball was in the net. Here come Rangers again. It's Jury driving it in. And it's behind for the goal kick. So a real let-off for Aberdeen. Owen McLaren, so unfortunate. Well, anyone who suggested that Aberdeen wouldn't be up for this game today, we're getting a certain message there.
You certainly won't want to lose anything here, that's for sure. Brian Irvin did superb there when that came off the post. It possibly so easy for a defender to kick that into his own net. Managed to launch it into the stand.
Well, McCall again full of running, pounces in that slack one. Aberdeen scramble it away. But, John Ingles dithering a bit there. And, a couple of times Aberdeen have surrendered possession, but here they come now through Scott Booth, taking on McLaren. That's behind for the goal kick. Scott Booth wasn't happy. Rangers want to get on with it. Here's Robertson. We're looking for Laudrup, but just a bit ambitious with that one. There's a lot of cover around Laudrup. It's Bernard. Robertson makes the challenge on both. Gascoigne leaves it to Brown. Through for Goff. Laudrup's away, so too is Jury. Jury's in the left, Anderson through the middle. It's played wide. This is Laudrup. Well, there were certainly options there, and Gordon Jury wasn't too happy there with Richard Goff. But, Laudrup trying to find the opening.
I don't think you can blame Goff for picking Laudrup in that situation. There's one man you probably want on the ball, it's Laudrup, to create something. Just overcrowded.
Oh, here's Scott Booth coming through now. And Andy Gorham does ever so well. That could be a very important save indeed. Scott Booth running right through, clearing goal, and Andy Gorham, he's so good, he just stands up. He waits for the player to try and pick his spot, and he stands up to it, and so often it comes off for him. That could be a very, very important save for Rangers.
Yeah, he does it so often. He's so good at it. But it's a great chance for Scott Booth. He read the situation superbly well and was actually probably 2 yards in front of Andy Gorham coming out. He really should have done a lot better than that. But full credit to Gorham.
Send out towards Anderson. Away by Ingles, picked up by McKimmie. Rowson to Windass. McKimmie. Away by Brown. Bernard. Rowson. Dodds. Challenged by Goff. Now it's Gascoigne. Jury. Laudrup's ahead of him, so too is Bo Anderson. Jury's holding off the challenge of Bernard. He's got support from Trevor Stephen. The Highland's hoisted in looking for Anderson. It's a free kick against the Rangers striker.
Anderson still trying to feel his way into this Rangers setup. At times I think when you see people like Hateley in that in the past, run into corners or show as a second striker, Anderson I think still a bit confused about where he should be going to.
Laudrup and McLaren's away in support. McLaren, Gascoigne's in the middle with Anderson and Jury. McLaren who sends it a win. It's away by Irvin. Returned by Goff. This is Laudrup. Good play by Laudrup. It's the final pass. As he tried to pick out Jury. Jury didn't anticipate it, and Laudrup looked quite disgusted.
No doubt he should have read that situation. Laudrup does that so often, cuts inside people, goes to bluff the shot and disguises the pass, and he does it ever so well. He's done it again, and Jury's just caught dreaming. Not the same wavelength then.
Possibly still in the huff for that pass from Goff a few minutes ago. This is John Brown. McCall.
Seem to have taken their foot off the pedal, that'll touch Rangers. They're expecting Gascoigne to go and get it a lot, but he's been marked again by Bernard. They just need to lift the tempo, Rangers, if they're going to get ahead. But Aberdeen defend them very, very well.
Once again, McCall makes a good interception. And it's a busy midfield. This is Goff. McCall. Gascoigne. Anderson. Rangers have got plenty of players forward here. This is Jury. And the effort going in from David Robertson. And that draws applause from the Rangers fans.
Yeah, it's well set up from Anderson. I think he would be preferred to be in the middle. Good knock back from Jury. Awkward to take for David Robertson, not just because it's on his bad side, but the defenders close on him. Sometimes you're better maybe just trying to hold that up.
There's Robertson. And it's intercepted by Paul Bernard. And mopped up by Irvin.
As you say, it's quite well bogged down in midfield. There's not very much space there. I think it's important, especially for Aberdeen, that they have the second striker going in rather than into feet all the time. They get into Booth or Dodds as a second striker, because if they don't do that, they don't really get much possession in terms of territory.
Rangers have got to get Robertson and Laudrup more into this game, get some width, get round behind the Aberdeen defence, try and pressure them with some decent crosses. Meanwhile, Rangers have their substitutes loosening up. And on the bench this afternoon are Ian Durant, Ali McCoist and Gordon Petric. is McCall. McLaren. So inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. So Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Then putting Aberdeen ahead after 19 minutes, and Gascoigne equalising just 2 minutes later. Here's Gascoigne. Laudrup. It's back to Goff. Well, first touch letting him down, but he gets it back and sends a good ball through to Gordon Durie. It's Durie with Ingles. Still it's Durie. Being forced to backtrack. Gascoigne. Well, Goff got a touch there, but there was enough cover. Gascoigne tried to move back onto it.
It's good defending again, though, from Aberdeen. They've got Durie making a good diagonal run across him in the box, but they've managed to shield him back outside the box. And they're getting back in good numbers, and it's given Rangers a problem to get through the centre of them. So what they need really is Robertson and Trevor Steven or Durie round the sides. They're not getting much joy in that department at the moment.
Well, Richard Goff is calling for some treatment, and that wound has opened up again. We'll just have to hope for some patience from the referee here. And the referee might have to send him from the field for treatment, but this can't be sorted quickly.
The problem with these circumstances, Jerry, is that sometimes the wound doesn't necessarily need a stitch. But because you get somebody like Goff who is determined to keep heading the ball in that point, it'll just keep opening up, and it becomes a real problem.
So, in just over 3 minutes' time, we'll be able to get that properly attended to in the haven of the dressing room. But there's no doubt that Gascoigne's goal has certainly taken a lot of pressure away from Rangers after they fell behind. They certainly wouldn't want to be going in trailing at half-time. They're not over-chasing the game. They're playing with a certain degree of patience. They know that Aberdeen are defending well in the middle of the park. They're defending well in the deeper areas. And there's no point in just throwing themselves forward and being caught on the break. And there was evidence of a break when Scott Booth was right through and Andy Gorham, who made an excellent save. So Rangers really do have their work cut out for them. And this is Durie to Gascoigne. Gascoigne does well, gets away from Windus. This is Laudrup. Through looking for Robertson. That's deflected off McKimmie. That's a corner to Rangers. So a chance to apply some pressure in these closing stages of the first half. And once again, Goff and Cluster move forward. McLaren moves into the area as well. So cleared by Ingles, only as far as Gascoigne. Still it's Gascoigne. Out to Laudrup. And Laudrup against McKimmie. Dodge comes to give some cover as well. The early cross goes in. And behind for the goal kick. Well, the cross ball just beyond Eric Bo Anderson. Provided by Laudrup.
I think you would still expect somebody like Anderson to be attacking that properly. I just find at times with Anderson, I know he's new to the game in Scotland, but he doesn't particularly go and attack the ball like you've seen so often in the past from especially Mark Haley. He would always seem to be coming on top of the ball and attacking it. Whereas Anderson seems still, the positional sense is still a bit raw. And I think that's why he tends to be under the ball more than attacking it.
I'm sure Mark's been out of his seat a few times back in the studio trying to go for these. It's played through by Rowson. This is Stephen Glass driving it through. Dodge was in there, but Rangers scramble it clear only as far as Windus. Glass again. Windus. But it all breaks down for Aberdeen. I think he was trying to pick out Billy Dodds. Booth was on the far side. So we're just about to move into stoppage time. And the game has been held up because of the injuries to Goff and Irvine. Bernard. Solid clearance from Watt. Charlie, we're in these closing stages of the first half. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a fairly well-balanced game. Rangers had most of the dominant side of the game. But Aberdeen always a threat. You can feel the tension in the air. And I think obviously Aberdeen getting the first goal is surprised and upset a few people. But it's fairly well-balanced.
There's Gascoigne. That's away by McKimmie. We've played a minute of stoppage time. And it's a free kick to Rangers.
Certainly the one thing Aberdeen have done is defending great numbers, but they've done it particularly well, and especially Irvine and Smith and McKimmie. They've denied Rangers the right to open them up through the middle.
And there's Atlan Irvine getting it away. It's returned by Jury. Goff's in there again, but Irvine bravely goes in to clear, and he was fouled in the process.
Brave lad. It's a brave lad again, isn't he? He takes them all the time. Very honest. Hard-working defender, Big Brian.
And who's had to fight illness as well as injury. But here come Rangers through Eric Anderson. He loses out though to Windus. And the crowd are getting a bit rattled and impatient, and the half-time whistle sounds. But certainly applause rings from the stands now. But it's been a splendid first half. Brian Irvine there giving the Dons the lead after 19 minutes. The corner kick was sent in from the right. And with his left foot, he managed to get it beyond Andy Gorham. And then Paul Gascoigne with a superb goal just 2 minutes later. He got away from Dodds and then Windus and picked his spot beyond Michael Watt. The half-time score here at Ibrox Stadium is Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, 1-1. It's all in the balance in the match that could decide the championship. And we'll take a short break now, but join us again for the half-time verdicts of Steve Archibald and Mark Haitley. Welcome back. It's some match at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Mark, you rightly said David Robertson would be an important Rangers player this afternoon. Straight away showed that, making menacing runs at the Aberdeen defence.
Yeah, I think he's been involved in 90% of everything that's happened in and around Aberdeen's box. You know, the strong penetrating runs. You know, is one here for example. Bit slow at reacting in the middle.
Yeah, but he's actually ended up in the middle as well.
Yeah.
On a couple of occasions, tried an overhead kick and been close.
Now there's a corner, Stephen. Michael Watt didn't look too clever there, did he?
No, well, he had the defender behind him as well, who should have told him that he had no pressure on him, and he's flapped it a little bit and gave good possession to Rangers. Great ball into the box.
At that stage, Rangers looking good, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting the ball into the box. I think there's a little bit more movement in the box when the ball's out wide. I think the movement up front is okay when the ball's deep. But you've got to have, as you say, we was talking about it earlier, you've got to get across that defender. And I think that's just where they're lacking out at the moment.
Yeah,
perfectly poised for Mr. McCoist.
Two or three occasions there where there have been fantastic balls into the box. Mark said, strikers not across the defender. And this is, I think, what we mentioned before the game, McCoist or Anderson. And Anderson would seem to be a little bit, game's passing him by a little bit at this
Yeah, he's
stage.
not doing enough, is he?
Well, it's just passing him by. He's not got a hell of a lot of experience.
Sure. Well, the Dons, they stood firm, and then Brian Irvine, Steve, went straight up and scored. Now, I mean, the Ibrox crowd were silenced, to say the least, for a few minutes, weren't they?
Well, we know that now that Aberdeen are not here to make up the numbers. And to be fair, Goffey's going to match the header. Irvine's not jumped. He's got the break off Goffey, just turned and knocked into net. He's been a little bit fortunate, but he's finished it tremendously well.
If you watch it, it's handball, actually. Goffey's actually handballed it.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was it,
Yeah.
back of the net.
1-0 Aberdeen. Gascoigne, what an equaliser, and what an answer. Straight after that, Mark.
That's the best way to reply, isn't it? I mean, they say when you score a goal, that's when you're the most vulnerable. And, I mean, they showed him onto his left foot you know, where they've been trying to show him all day, and he just, you know, takes it past two, can't bring you down, and lifts it into the roof of the net.
That's a great goal, Steve.
Yeah, he showed tremendous composure. He's gone past two defenders here. Left them, a little bit of pace, great strength to hold it off and finish, superb strength.
And straight after that, Mark, he clearly was a man in the mood. I mean, he really went at the Aberdeen defenders after that.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's his strength. I mean, we saw him against Croatia in the week where he's playing deeper, and today he's playing in the last third where he needs to play, I think. That's where his strengths are.
And here he is again. He got the cross in. McLaren.
Yeah, great header. And the perfect little setup there for McCoist.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen on the ropes at that stage.
Yeah.
But I think you look at Gascoigne's strength here. He's on his left foot, his hands up, he's holding the defender off, great cross in, and very unfortunate not to score again.
Yeah, Gorham, he's done it so often, Steve, when they need him. Booth was through, and when he'll look back at this tonight and think, what a miss. Well, fantastic the way he stood up to him.
This is the difference between teams that win things and teams that lose things. The goalkeeper, the man in the last phase of the defence, superb, stood up, reaction save, got it in his hands, superb.
I mean, your goalkeepers and your centre forwards, they inspire teams, they inspire confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just proved, you know, your back four will be so confident that he's going to stop that.
And he kept his men in it.
That's
OK. Well, 1-1 it is. Time for another short break now. Don't go away. Join us again in a couple of minutes for the second half of Rangers Aberdeen, live from Ibrox. Rangers in the tunnel now, Steve. I think you would go with what Mark says. Let's go back now over to Ibrox. It's 1-1 in the match that could decide the championship. Rangers against Aberdeen. Back to you, Jerry.
Welcome back to Ibrox Stadium as Rangers and Aberdeen take the field. And just a quick look at Rangers. No changes apparent there. And same with Aberdeen. I must say, Charlie, you know, looking back over the previous 4 meetings between these sides this season in both League and Cup, there have been 20 bookings in 4 games, and yet this has been played in a good spirit.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I mean, there's been very few vicious tackles, but it's always been regarded, Aberdeen Rangers, even when I played at Aberdeen. There was always a special spice about the game. A bit of nastiness would creep in eventually or whatever, but today, considering the amount of tension that's in the air, it's been played at a very, very good sportsmanship in both teams' part.
So Rangers know they have a big job to do in this second half. And they went into the game on 81 points, just one ahead of Celtic. Their goal difference is +9 over the rivals, but they do not want to be going to Rugby Park next Saturday with this job still to finish. But they're finding Aberdeen more than worthy opponents. Aberdeen, of course, know that they can push themselves into 3rd spot if they can win this afternoon. Well, I wonder just how much longer Walter Smith will leave it like this without being tempted to throw on the luckiest mascot in the history of Rangers, Ali McCoist. Meanwhile, Dodds has taken a knock and requires some treatment. But certainly, Charlie, Ali McCoist, 19 goals, not that many starts made this season, but still a remarkable scoring record. But he hasn't scored against Aberdeen this season.
Well, that in itself is unusual, and especially the fact that it possibly is his last home match. You know, there's so much. This guy seems to write the script every time he plays it, every season. We're going to see it again today, but I just think sometimes Rangers do play at a pace that is a bit slow for the style that they play. And I think with the one up front and Anderson was finding it hard to get the movement of the Rangers style of play. You always think that somebody like McCoist will always benefit from somebody round about the tap-ins and the Loudrops of the world. You just expect that this guy's going to come on and probably score.
Well, he's done it so often over the years, hasn't he? You remember back to the League Cup final against Hibs when he'd come back after breaking his leg and he scored a superb winner. What a player he's been down through the years. But, happily now, Dodds has recovered. Gough is well bandaged up. It's like emergency ward 10 out there. It's quite amazing how often Richard Gough ends up swathed in bandages in big matches, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And always towards the end of the season, you always seem to see Richard Gough being injured.
But here's perhaps a break on. Loudrop's in there. The goalkeeper's come all the way out of his area. Well, he certainly gets away with it, but Michael Watkin steaming out there. as Laudrup was breaking forward. And in the end, he did the job.
Well, he made the decision to come, and he got there, so full credit to him for that. For well, it looked as if it was a bit of a kamikaze.
And now Gordon Jury's on the deck. Well, it's certainly, we said it was being played in a good spirit and there have been no bookings, but it's certainly tough out there, and he's caught by the elbow of Brian Irvine, who himself was in the wars in the first half. So a tough encounter, as you would expect, between these clubs. But Rangers certainly have done well against the Dons this season. Last year they took 7 points out of the 12 against the Dons. They've already got 7 from the 3 league games this time around. So Gordon Jury has recovered. And the ball is sportingly returned to Rangers. And that's John Brown. The long one from Brown. Henderson challenges, it breaks away. Here's Henderson again, and he gets right under that one as he's challenged. But he combines so well with Laudrup. And the referee has, in fact, awarded a goal kick. It was Laudrup who clipped it forward. And as the challenge came in, the Rangers player just got under the ball. And the referee decided that he'd made the final contact, even though John Ingles come flying in and awarded the goal kick.
Credit to Ingles there, he came across, made up ground in Anderson, and it looked as if he was going to strike in the back of the net. And a great challenge.
Off and McLaren under pressure from Dodds. It's good play by the 2 defenders, but Aberdeen have it back again. It was Bernard who intercepted initially. It's away by McLaren. This is Gary Smith. Windus. Again, McCall comes charging in, but Windus does well to retain possession. It's away by Brown, picked up by Laudrup. Shows good pace, but in the end has to settle for the throw-in, just in line with the penalty area. And Robertson, who can fire in the long one, is going over to take this. And he waves John Brown forward. Goff starts a run as well, and Brown checks out. In comes Richard Goff, and that's good handling by the goalkeeper. And once again, Brian Irvine and Goff colliding. No prisoners have been taken.
No, there's none with these two. I mean, they're both... Goff is watching the ball all the way, and he's fully committed and going and getting it. And there's no way somebody like Brian Irvine will stand out the way and let him go for it.
A real scrap going on in the middle of the park for possession. It's McCall. Gascoigne. Nice little touch by him. It's played through by Robertson to Laudrup. Trevor Stevens starts a good run. He's picked out by Laudrup. Laudrup still in support. It's 2 against 1 here. Aberdeen get Windus across. Laudrup sends that one through, and Rangers get the corner, but they really, Trevor Stevens and Brian Laudrup should have made more of that situation. And 2 of them were there against the 1 defender.
It wasn't a great pass from Laudrup. He was asking too much of Trevor Stevens. He actually did well to get the corner.
This is Gascoigne. Goff's up there again. And it's another corner. The ball's deflected. Corner to Rangers. It was Gascoigne who sent it in.
Yeah, it was, and Goff and Irvine at it again. He does get, there's a touch, I think, off Ingles, actually. Stephen Glass letting it go for a corner.
Laudrup with a nice touch to Gascoigne. It's Laudrup again. He provides the cross. Jury's on the far side.
Well, that was a great opportunity for Jury to knock it across the goal. Good layback from Gascoigne. Tease and cross again from Loudrup. We've seen so many today. He's headed it straight at the keeper when it should be across the goal for someone coming in to get in the end of it.
Meanwhile, Aberdeen have got themselves a free kick just inside their own half of the field. It's the skipper Stuart McKimmie to take it. Now in his 13th season with Aberdeen. Just leaving it now. It's played, shot by Ingles. There's Gary Smith. He's got Stephen Glass just ahead of him. It's McLaren who cuts out the cross, and Trevor Stevens there, providing some cover. No free kick, says the referee, much to the annoyance of the home fans. This is Glass who sends in the cross. McCall's at full stretch. Rangers under pressure here as McKimmie comes forward, just to the edge of the area. Tees it up now for Bernard. It's Rowson playing it through, looking for Booth. It's away by Robertson. Still Aberdeen making it mighty tough for Rangers. Here's Gary Smith. Through for Dodds. This is Glass. McLaren goes across to make the challenge. That's behind. Corner kick, and it's quickly taken. Aberdeen have the bit between their teeth at the moment. And it's Gorham who picks it up and starts a counter-attack. The early ball out to Eric Bo Anderson. Loudrup's in the middle. Jury's there as well. And it's out for the throw-in to Rangers. This is Gascoigne. Challenged by Rowson, holding off that challenge as Gascoigne eventually pulls out of the run, looking for a free kick. The referee shakes his head and says no. It's Robertson who's trying to get forward for Rangers now. Well, Gascoigne just pulled out of the situation. He turned around looking for a free kick, and Les Mottram just shook his head and play continued.
I think initially he's let play go on and let Gascoigne go with the ball. He was then decided that he wanted to stop. But I think initially he did. He would play on.
Here's Loudrup. Away by Gary Smith. In comes Trevor Stephen. The crowd getting right behind Rangers here, trying to lift them. Touch from Loudrup, but the ball breaks down. The interception comes from Bernard. Played off by Rowson. The cross now for Gary Smith. Glass is ahead of him, and he's in a bit of space as well. Trevor Stephen is running back to try and give some cover here. And Stephen Glass is coming more and more into this game on the left-hand side. He provides a cross for Windus. And Trevor Stephen was certainly struggling to get back there as Glass started his run. And both Gary Smith and Stephen Glass on that left side causing some problems. But here come Rangers now. This is Anderson. Still it's Anderson! Well, McCall was arriving to his left-hand side. Loudrup was just in ahead of him. It looked as though he might be able to go himself, but in the end, there was nothing in it.
Yeah, it's great defending again from Urban now. He could easily have left the man and cut inside. He decided to go all the way with him and committed again in a challenge and did enough to put him off.
Here's Loudrup. Jury. Anderson. Knocked away by Ingles. Touch from McKimmie. It's Ingles again. Aberdeen playing them aware of trouble here, but McCall slides in well. The Jury comes in now. A bit of dithering by the defence. It's Jury for Rangers. Well, Anderson had a real chance there. There were Rangers players queuing up as Gordon Jury played it through. A bit of dithering in the defence. I think Rowson it was who failed to get it away. Jury played it back in. It was Anderson who got the touch. There were other Rangers players there.
Well, again, it's Aberdeen making their own mistakes. Young Rowson getting involved in it. I think this pass is actually meant for Gascoigne, who's behind Anderson. And it's a bad touch from Anderson. He's let himself down on 2 or 3 occasions with a bad touch. And there's another one. So
a great chance for Rangers goes a begging. Just over 57 minutes played. It's a 1 goal apiece. It's Aberdeen trying to get forward now through Stephen Glass. Dodds is ahead of him. Here he is. Glass keeps a run going. And that's Rangers' ball, indicates the referee.
The game's certainly opened up now, Jerry. There's lots of space for players. And I think you probably see somebody like Laudrup or something making a real telling contribution in this game.
Well, Goff really had to stretch at the last moment. He was almost caught. Now it's John Brown pushing Rangers forward. The crowd getting right behind him. It's Laudrup. Still it's Laudrup, flipping it through. And it's John Brown who's well forward. And that's Rangers' ball. Rangers trying to lift the pace here. Walter Smith is back down trackside with more instructions and getting caught up in the atmosphere. There's so much riding on this match for the management team. Here's Jury, a touch for Anderson.
Well, chances are coming now. Good pass from Robertson. Good 1-2, Jury aware of the run. Probably not his favoured side, he's right, but he must hit the target. You know, Rangers have lifted the tempo. There's more space in the game now. It also suits Aberdeen, who can hit them in the break.
There's Jury pushing forward again. Well, high boot there from Gary Smith. That's Aberdeen's ball. Aberdeen get on with it as the Rangers fans claim a free kick. This is Stephen Glass, challenged by Trevor Stephen. Here's McLaren. And Billy Dodds biting away there at his heels, and the free kick is awarded. Here's Stephen. Through now for Jury. Across comes Irvin. He clears well. It's taken down by McCall. Left to Stephen. The Rangers just a bit anxious there. It's played through by Gary Smith. Laid off by Booth. That's a nice ball. He runs onto the return from Windus, but Brown's here. It breaks away to Dodds. Glass is to his left. Dodds is cutting inside off for the shot. In the end, there wasn't a lot of power in it. He certainly had the option of Stephen Glass to his left. Decided to cut inside and have a go.
Yeah, it was good build-up play. Good play pass from initially Gary Smith. Booth a nice lay-off, and suddenly Aberdeen are flooding forward. Kind of chokes it into the ground a bit, Billy Dodds here, rather than hitting it cleanly. But still, there's spaces for Aberdeen to expose as much as Rangers are pressing forward.
So that's another gone here at Ibrox Stadium. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1, and the strain and the stress showing on the face of Walter Smith. Well, Rangers are about to make a change, and Ali McCoist is getting ready to come on. And Anderson is likely to be the man who will leave the field. But meanwhile, Rangers have a free kick. Laudrup tries to squeeze it through to Anderson. This is Jury. Stephen for Laudrup, who's quickly closed down. But that's great play by Laudrup. Well, Laudrup did so well to get away there from Ingles, but it's Aberdeen breaking away. Disappointing ball out of defence, and there'll be some roar goes up here for Ali McCoist. So a huge applause for one of the great Rangers of all time. And Eric Bo Anderson leaves the field. And this is McCall to Brown. Well, if McCoist gets a winner today, he'll get the freedom of the stadium and city for as long as he wants it. But he's responded so often for Rangers in the past. And now Rangers have the free kick, and the referee has lost his patience. Stuart McKimmie pleads the case, but Les Mottram has been a patient man. And the yellow card is shown. So a crowded penalty area as Gascoigne waits to take the kick. A lot of movement going on. Well, he just trying to catch the goalkeeper. It shows such tremendous confidence from set pieces.
A touch of the Del Piero's here, played it in an area, teasing again, someone to come on the end of it, or maybe hopefully going in the back corner. It's a little bit too wide.
Goff comes in, but he comes in late and he concedes the free kick. He was beaten to that one by Windus and charged on into the Aberdeen player. It's through by McKimmie. This is Scott Booth, and it's Brown who challenges, and the ball's deflected off the Aberdeen player. Rangers throw. Throw from Robertson. It's a touch from McCoy. Sloudrup tries to get forward. Referee shakes his head. No free kick. Sloudrup just getting back to his feet as Stephen Glass moves forward. Stevens with him. McLaren's across there as well. But Stephen Glass has certainly caused one or two problems on the left-hand side of the field. Ably backed up by Gary Smith in the second half. And Trevor Stephen, who's been filling that area, is requiring support from Alan McLaren, who's having to come out and help him in these situations. And Aberdeen have the free kick, and the small band of supporters are really cheering them on. Small band of supporters there in the Broomloan stand, just in the bottom left-hand corner. Some real pressure here for Andy Gorham and his defenders. It's away by Robertson. This is Laudrup. Breaks to McCoy. It's Laudrup again. And the ball just will not break for him. Well, he gets the free kick this time. And it's quickly taken. Through to Goff. Robertson's away in a tremendous run. But that was well cut out by Stuart McKimmie. Just got a foot to that one as Goff tried to slide it through into the path of Robertson, who was off in one of those runs. The championship is so close for Rangers, but Aberdeen are making them battle every inch of the way. Here's Gascoigne. It's Gascoigne who hit Rangers equaliser in the first half after Irvine had put Aberdeen ahead. That's the way things remain, one apiece with just over 65 minutes gone. And now it's Laudrup trying to find the opening. He's got two players to beat, and he's forced into the error. The ball drops behind for the goal kick.
Again, it's good defending Aberdeen. Stephen Glass, young man, but making Laudrup make the decision, not diving in. Suddenly he crosses out of the park, but tremendous amount of tension in there. You still feel Aberdeen are a threat because Rangers are driving forward. But again, Rangers mainly just left Ali McCoy stuck on his own, and Laudrup still roaming from side to side.
So we're still looking to Gascoigne and Laudrup to provide a little moment of magic that will unlock the steadfast defence. Gascoigne showed some amazing skill in the first half, but apart from McLaren's header coming off the post, Aberdeen have defended stoutly, and here they come forward again, and Goff loses out. That's Windus, and it's McLaren who does just enough to block him, and it's Goff who recovers and gets it through to Jury.
Lots of managers have got a saying that you must earn the right to win things and win games, never mind championships. And Aberdeen are making Rangers do this today until they are going to do it.
Well, Rangers had in fact failed to win in 5 consecutive visits to Pittodrie until they went there in October, and they repeated that again in February. 2 1-0 victories, which have turned out to be so important. As we said earlier, they've risen to just about every challenge this season, and it's another big challenge for them this afternoon. They lost out, of course, to Aberdeen in the League Cup, and here's a chance perhaps. The header from McCoist, teed up by Laudrup. Laudrup there getting away from the defender, sending in the cross for McCoist.
Yeah, it's great vision again from Laudrup. He's hit the byline. McCoist is pulled out. It's a difficult header. He's got to put the power back into it at a difficult angle. You see, he's quite low down. I actually thought it might have clipped Brian Irvine in the way by there.
And of course, McCoist has been so successful with headed goals this season, but that one just wide of target. Well, now it's Aberdeen pushing forward. It's Rowson, but McCall does well, just gets in a foot. It's cleared by Brown. Now it's Laudrup. He's quickly closed down. It's through for Gascoigne. McCoist ahead of him. Laudrup keeps a run going, showing blistering pace. Here's Laudrup, he might finish it himself. And yet another chance. Goes a-begging. Blistering pace from Laudrup to get into the area. McCoist was ahead of him. It looked as though Laudrup might have a go himself.
Well, I think he should have done. I think the pass from Gascoigne just was perfectly on his stride. He didn't have to check his stride, but he chose to try and do that delicate chip back inside to McCoist. He really should have had a go himself.
And here comes Stephen Glass again, ably supported by Gary Smith. What a fine second half this young man's having. He provides a cross. It's Brown who sends it high into the air. And Trevor Stephen comes across, fails to make the challenge. It's Rowson who sends it in. And once again, Aberdeen comes so close. And they have the corner kick. Well, there's no doubt all the dangers coming down that left side of the field. And it was Rowson who provided the cross. And Windus coming ever so close. Well, Aberdeen are contemplating a change, but at the moment it's Windus in possession. It's Gascoigne who blocks it. The break's on here now for Laudrup. Gascoigne's away in the run as well. It's 2 against 2. Aberdeen are trying to get players back. Ali McCoist arriving as well. Laudrup goes down, but the referee is not interested. It was Gary Smith who made the challenge. Well, what a let-off that was for Rangers just a moment ago. Good play down the left, and the header going in from Windus, and Andy Gorham got just the nearest touch on it. And then at the other end, Laudrup pushing through. But there's certainly activity down at the benches as play goes on. The game's so finely balanced. What a fantastic drama out there. But there's no doubt Trevor Stephen has been toiling a bit in that right area, and it looks as though he'll be coming off. But here's Gascoigne trying to weave some magic again. He gets a second bite at it. He provides a cross. It's Trevor Stephen who's there. He hits the early one back in, but right into the hands of Michael Watt.
Well, he's actually probably tried to overdo it here, Gascoigne. It's one too many. But he gets it back and plays it in a good area again. There's no one there again at the back post, other than Trevor Stephen. He's trying to hook it back in. Just that final ball, you just see they're getting a little frustrated, Rangers.
So just under 19 minutes left. And Rangers have the throw. Jury wants to take this one and fire in the long one, and Goff has moved to the edge of the area in anticipation. It's aimed in his direction, he climbs for it. Breaks away to Dodds. The Rangers players anticipated a difficult afternoon. They have not been disappointed. Once again, it's Irvine who gets the touch. So Rangers are about to make the change now, and Trevor Stephen will come off, and Gordon Petrich is a man coming on. There's absolutely no doubt that Trevor Stephen has been running out of steam on that right-hand side, especially in the second half, with Gary Smith pushing forward and supporting Stephen Glass. And they've given Trevor Stephen a hard time. And McLaren's being pulled out of the central area. But here's a chance now for Ali McCoy. So once again, it's Irvin who stretches in. The Rangers have the corner kick. And inevitably, it's Gascoigne to take it. So John Brown guards the back door as Goff moves forward. David Robertson sitting there as well, just keeping an eye on Scott Booth as Gascoigne delivers the corner kick. McLaren climbs for it, it's off the bar, the goalkeeper got a touch on it. Well, that's twice that McLaren has been denied by the frame of the goal. And that's Robertson who sends in the shot. Rangers claim a corner kick, but the referee isn't interested. But McLaren so unlucky in this match. He struck the post in the first half with a header, and on that occasion Michael Watt got a very good touch to the ball onto the underside of the bar. So that's a header from Petrich, the substitute. That's laid off by Laudrup. This is Jury. It's Laudrup going into the wide area, being chased all the way by Irvin. Irvin makes a challenge, and he's just late with that one. It's a free kick to Rangers. He's hardly put a foot wrong this afternoon, Brian Irvin, but just a little late there. So again, Rangers push forward Goff and McLaren and Petrich. Again, it's Gascoigne who takes it. It's a poor one on this occasion. This is Robertson. It's Jury. Taking up and down well, holding off the challenge of Gary Smith. Petrich is just ahead of him, still well forward. But three Aberdeen players there as Jury tries to get forward. And he'll be quite happy to get the throw-in out of that. Meanwhile, Aberdeen are waiting to make a change. And Padipo is the man coming on. And Booth is going off. So Padipo, who will be 20 this August, Aberdeen-born player, comes into the fray, and it's just a straight swap. They'll move in up front. There's Goff getting a touch at the other end, and it's Stephen Glass. It's charged down by Petrich for the throw to the Dons. So just 15 minutes left for Rangers to win this championship or face a daunting trip down to Ayrshire next Saturday. You can see why Aberdeen pushed out the boat to keep Stephen Glass at the club. They signed him on a new contract. He's a special young player. But, here's Gascoigne now for Rangers. Through for Jury. And right across the face of goal.
Just got a bit too much in that, Jury. Good ball in a good area, just too high with a bit too much pace.
After scoring that excellent equaliser, Gascoigne's been pretty quiet, but maybe he's just keeping something for these later stages. He's been accused of running out of steam on so many occasions. This is McLaren. Petrich is playing in the wide area. And Petrich pushing forward now. And a real mix-up there. That's a corner kick. Irvin and Watt both going for the ball. The goalkeeper's not happy. It was McLaren who clipped it forward. There seemed absolutely no problem at all. Petrich didn't seem to have a chance of getting near this, and then Irvin and Watt get into a tangle, and Rangers got the corner, which is taken by Gascoigne. McLaren's there again. It's a goal kick. So Rangers just have to be careful now that they don't become too frustrated.
Well, I think they are a little. It's a good teasing corner again from Gascoigne. McLaren looks as if he's going to get a clean header on it, but what happens is Pestries comes in behind him. It's hard to see, but Pestries come in at the back of him with the defender and bumps him, and he ends up heading it high over the bar. But just their final ball's just not making it tell in the right areas for Rangers.
Well, although Rangers won both games this season at Pittodrie, it was a 1-1 draw here at Ibrox in the championship match earlier in the season. The goals coming from Jess, who's been sent to Coventry, and Salenko, who's been sent to Istanbul. And meanwhile, the offside flag is up as Billy Dodds move forward. Here's McLaren. Now, Rangers have suffered just the 2 defeats here at Ibrox in the league this season, to Hibs and to Hearts. But, there's a lot of pressure on them playing in front of these big crowds, and it's a point Richard Gough made a couple of months ago. He said that in the run-in, some of the toughest games would come at home, because the crowd can certainly start applying a pressure through the reactions. Well, if it stays like this much longer, Tommy Burns might be ordering the skipper of the speedboat to go ashore, and the Celtic players will be coming up from behind the sofa to watch the last few minutes, because it would certainly keep them going. Well, the referee has awarded the free kick just outside the area.
It's a fair old scrap. Determined to get there, Jury, and Smith being stubborn, as defenders should be, not giving in. It's a free kick in a dangerous area, especially with Gascoigne about. I'd anticipate Gough and everybody else going up for this one.
And a yellow card was shown there to Gary Smith. So another chance for Rangers to do something. Petric is on the far side, Gough's here as well. So too is McCall. Gascoigne lifts it over, and it's McCoy's who got the touch. Well, he's managed a couple of headers. It's coming on, but they're both gone wide.
Yeah, great free kick again. In the right area. McCoy stretching all the way for it, hard to get over it. Certainly one thing for sure, McCoy won't leave it for anybody else.
There are 10 minutes left here at Ibrox Stadium. It's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Irvine for Aberdeen after 19 minutes. Gascoigne for Rangers after 21 minutes. Rangers have twice struck the goal frame. Both times it was Alan McLaren with headers. Once off the post, and the second time Michael Watt touched the ball onto the bar. At the other end, Aberdeen have had chances also. Scott Booth, before he went off in the second half, he had tested Andy Gorham in the first 45 minutes when he was clear through in goal. And then Dean Windus had a header which was touched over by Gorham. It's been very evenly balanced. Here's Gascoigne now, pushing forward, showing great determination. Oh, he's done it again! It's unbelievable!
What a goal.
Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1, and Ibrox goes absolutely wild. Well, I did say he was perhaps keeping something for the closing stages. He had gone a bit quiet, but he was obviously keeping something for a lung-busting run. He goes right through the defence, and what a marvellous finish. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1, and they're on course for 8 in a row.
Well, we say about this guy tiring in certain games, Jerry. There's certainly no evidence there. He's left him in midfield, beaten 2 players, and he's just kept going. Sheer determination. But Laudrup, watch Laudrup, the run is superb. He takes angles inside with tremendous composure in the finish. We keep saying big-time players will come and play, and they'll make things happen in a big day, and Gascoigne's done it again.
flags and banners all around Ibrox Stadium. Absolute bedlam. Gascoigne gets his second goal of the game. And Rangers are on course for the championship. It's headed away by Petric. Here's Gascoigne. It's fired in by Windus. Well, he was just keeping some extra gas in the tank, Charlie.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, there's one thing for sure when you get Gascoigne going, Loudrup, you see Celtic with Andy Tom. We'll get quality players who, when it's necessary to make it count, will make it happen. Gascoigne's done it twice today. He's been fairly quiet otherwise. Two pieces of genius, and Rangers are certainly in front.
Here's Ali McCoist. Well, you'll go a long, long way to see two better goals from one player in one game. This is Stephen Glass, and Petric does the job again. Well, it was certainly a good substitution by Walter Smith. They had to do something in that area of the field because Rangers were struggling down that left-hand side because of Glass. But Petric has come in now and he's defending it. And here's Loudrup. Rangers can go in for the kill now. It's McCoist. Loudrup's away through the middle. Roberts is running through. So too is McCall. And it's David Rowson who makes a good challenge. Now Rangers were pouring players forward. They just need another one to put it beyond any shadow of a doubt. That's Gascoigne now with 18 goals from midfield. And there's Jury firing one in. I think, Charlie, when people look back on this championship, apart from Celtic having too many draws, the spread of goals that's come from the Rangers team. Celtic have depended too much on Van Hooijdonk, who's done a great job for them. Yeah. But there's been a spread of goals from Rangers.
Yeah, of course, that's been a big plus for them. With Jury having a good goal-scoring season, McCoist, as always, throws in his quota. And then you've had somebody like Gascoigne, 18 goals, which is superb. Celtic only had John Collins in the early part of the season to give him a few goals.
Well, here he comes again. Is he going to make it a hat-trick? And this time it's Irvin who stops his ambitions. And here come Rangers again, through McLaren for a finish to this match. McLaren keeps the run going, he deserves a goal. Well, so unlucky. Off the post, off the bar, and just wide of target. Played a lovely 1-2 there with Loudrup. Kept the run going. Took a touch on it.
Well, it's a typical defender's finish. McCoist was about a yard inside him, screaming for it, as he always would be. But a great 1-2. Bad defending, to be honest, by Aberdeen. They let him go. A pretty well finish in the end from McLaren, and that would have really tied it up.
There are 4.5 minutes left, plus stoppage time. Rangers lead Aberdeen by 2 goals to 1. It's Aberdeen pushing forward, though. And they've got the corner kick, so there's still some anxious moments to come for Rangers. So Archie Knox in conversation again with Walter Smith. Gorham commits himself. Jury gets a touch. Here's Loudrup. Jury's breaking forward. McCoist is away as well. McCoist is running through the middle. Gary Smith goes across to try and cut him off. It's Jury in possession. Robertson's arriving as well. And Jury goes down. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. So the chance for Rangers to tie it all up. And this will be the chance, perhaps, for Paul Gascoigne to score his hat-trick. Gordon Jury showed great determination. He was taken down by Paul Bernard. Well, Gordon Jury missed from the penalty spot last week. It's Gascoigne who's going to take this one, and Gascoigne has already scored from the penalty spot. This for the hat-trick in the championship. Minutes gone, and Rangers have won the championship. Gascoigne has scored the hat-trick. There's absolute jubilation all around these stands. An afternoon of the highest drama, a brilliant penalty, 3 absolutely stunning goals from Paul Gascoigne, and he's loving it, and he's still got a trophy to collect tonight.
Well, it's tremendous stuff from McCoist. McCoist was to take the penalty kick. Gascoigne pleaded with him. I think a couple of weeks ago at Wraith Rovers he decided to give it to Jury, and he's given Gascoigne a chance in his hat-trick, especially when it could be McCoist's last match at Ibrox. Tremendous effort, but well, the man's got a hat-trick.
So the celebrations begin all around Ibrox. And Rangers might not be finished yet. My goodness, Aberdeen have made them fight all the way. But a magnificent response from Paul Gascoigne. There are less than 2 minutes to go. And Petric is happy just to drag the ball towards the corner flag. And he's got, well, that looked like a corner, but the referee's giving a goal kick. So Rangers about to make another change. Ian Durrant is getting ready to come on. Still play rages on though, as Rangers wait to make the change. That's given away towards Laudrup. It's Glass who challenges though. It's picked up by Gascoigne. That's Laudrup, Petric, McLaren. Back to Goff. We're inside the final minute. And it's really quite apt that Ian Durrant is waiting to come on. A man who suffered horrific injury against Aberdeen at Pittodrie and lost so much out of his career. He's waiting to come on in these final stages. I just wonder if he'll get the chance. Yeah, he's got to get that chance now. Gordon Jury is the man who will be leaving the field. Well, it was Gordon Jury who got Rangers that penalty kick. He's certainly contributed hugely to the season with his goals also. Scored a lot of goals over Christmas-New Year period. And on comes Ian Durrant. And this is a fixture that will always be a very emotional one for him.
Yeah, well, emotions are very high. And I played in the Aberdeen game when he got the bad injury. Emotions are always very high when you're in the way to your championship. And I think it's great when you see this side of the game, the McCoys giving Gascoigne an opportunity in a penalty and Durrant getting the big reward of getting on in the day that they win it.
So McCoy's taking a tumble. And the free kick is awarded. We're now into stoppage time. Gascoigne is already celebrating inside the centre circle as we watch the replay of McCoy's been taken down there. There goes the final whistle. Rangers are champions for the 8th consecutive season. They're champions for the 9th time in 10 years. And they're champions for the 46th time in their history. And there's the man who scored 3 goals, and there's a man who's led them to 5 of these titles in his own right. A stunning performance by Paul Gascoigne. And the celebrations really get underway. Well, there's the manager with his captain. John Brown, who's seen it all as well. He's been here during all of these 8 years. Celebrates, but no one celebrates more than Paul Gascoigne. And Ian Durrant will be delighted to have been out there for those closing seconds. So there's absolute bedlam here now. Archie Knox takes part in the celebrations. Walter Smith couldn't be a prouder man. And Alan McLaren, who played such a terrific role in that match, both defensively and in attack. They all celebrate. And Laudrup, who missed the earlier part of the season, has come in to weave his magic. But there's a man That's a real magician. And he's also eligible to play in the Scottish Cup final. Just a wee bonus, Charlie.
Well, it's certainly not just a bonus for him, it's a bonus for all the Rangers supporters who can see them.
So the players leave the field, and there will be a short break before they come back out to receive the championship trophy. And Gascoigne is the last man to leave the field. So you'll be rejoining us shortly for the presentation of the championship trophy. But the final score here at Ibrox Stadium is Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1.
What do you make of that? Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1. That's the first time the championship title has been clinched live on television. You saw it with us. The championship title is at Ibrox for the 8th consecutive year. Join us after this break for post-match analysis and reaction, of course, from Ibrox. Rangers, they won their 8th title this afternoon. Let's go back to Ibrox and Jerry McNee.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just awaiting the reappearance of Richard Gough and his players to collect the trophy, which is already out there on the podium. And the photographers there massed just all around the tunnel, waiting for the emergence of the players. And the trophy now that has been at Ibrox for 8 years. And 46 titles in total. Walter Smith, of course, has been involved in all 8 of these. The first title shared with Dumbarton way back in 1891. And the Rangers fans have enjoyed so many of these days. So the presentation about to be made by Lord McFarlane of Bearsden, who is the chairman of Bells, the league sponsors, and he's flanked by Stuart Thompson and Charlie Mann, also at Bells. So a sight we've seen so often, the red and blue ribbons, and we're just waiting now for Richard Gough. The players are back in the tunnel area, and there'll be one almighty roar here. Paul Gascoigne wins his first league championship medal to add to the FA Cup medal of a few years ago. And certainly old stagers like Richard Gough and John Brown picking up 8 medals, which is a tremendous achievement. And there he goes with his little lad. They got him. It's a real family occasion. And there's a man who's been so unlucky, Stephen Wright, who's been out all season because of injury. And Ian Ferguson, who missed the run-in. So 47,000 people here today to witness this. And so many more, of course, on television. So now Rangers will turn their attentions to the Scottish Cup final, and then after a short break the pressure begins all over again as they get into the Champions League qualifiers. So Richard Gough leads his men onto the field. And he really has been a marvellous captain, Charlie.
Yeah, I think we're talking about Gascoigne today all the time. I think you look back at the result, but I think Richard Gough, I was speaking to him last weekend, and I think he gets sick to death every time he comes up to pick this trophy up, and he's wearing shirt and tie and he's suing.
So Richard Gough goes forward to collect the Premier Division trophy. It's 8 in a row for Rangers. It's handed now to Brian Laudrup. Such an influential player over the past couple of seasons. And Stuart McCall, who's got back into the side recently. Now Gascoigne moves forward. And he picks up the Bells Trophy. A hat-trick. Certainly man of the match, no doubt about that. Appreciation shown there by Gordon Petrich. This is a day I'll long remember. And a nice touch now as the Rangers players bring their children onto the field to join in the celebrations. Gordon Jury, what a fantastic contribution he made just over the Christmas New Year period when Rangers built up a reasonable lead. They scored a lot of goals. And now they're getting ready for the photographers and the lap of honour. And you can imagine these celebrations will go on and on and on. Charlie, you've experienced days like this.
Yes. Oh, there's no greater feeling in the world than that you've achieved the championship. It's the feeling that you've worked all year for. You just feel as if everything works in that day. And these guys at Rangers have a great team spirit, not just in the drinking stakes, but obviously in other stakes, and they'll make it worthwhile. And people ask about Gascoigne, will he stay, will he go? There's no denying that when you are successful, it makes it easier to stay. This is his first championship. When he gets that under his belt, he sets possibility of a double. These are the things that make people stay at big clubs. And he'll certainly enjoy it. He doesn't look that happy though, does he? Gobb's like a zip. Like a warrior somewhere.
Wonderful scenes down there on the pitch as Richard Gough starts to move forward, but now we've got Paul Cooney with Walter Smith.
Walter, congratulations. Thanks very much. It was a long while coming and a wee bit worried at times, but a couple of terrific goals from Paul Gascoigne sealed it for us. Amazing investment, wasn't he? Some people thought, I think we all thought at some point, would he have the legs? We saw it this afternoon. A terrific performance from him today. Two fabulous goals. So I read in papers last week saying that he doesn't go by people anymore. He gave a fair impersonation of that anyway today. 8 in a row, what does it mean to you? Well, it means everything to us. We set out each season to win a championship, and it means a lot to us, and you can see what it means to everybody here. You had a real challenge this year from Celtic. We did do it, but I think, a credit to everybody at Rangers have responded well to that, and we've ended up with a championship. Was there ever any doubt this afternoon that it might go the other way? You might have to wait till Rugby Park. Oh, I didn't think that the game was always in the balance. It's always a wee bit nervy when you get to this stage, but as I say, we're really pleased that we managed to get a goal. You've shared some great times with your skipper Richard Gough at Dundee United and here at Rangers. Would you have a word for him today? Well, I think if it hadn't been for injury this year, I think Richard would probably have been the player of the year. His early season form was fantastic, and it was only injury, I think, that's taken him out of the limelight a little bit. And a man, come on, he didn't score today, but Ali McCoy has been a great servant to you. I know tonight's not the night to think about next season, but a word for Ali. Oh, well, I hope that Ali will be here next season, so I'm sure we'll come to some arrangement. Okay, Walter. You'll enjoy the rest of the evening. A wee bit of champagne there, I reckon. Just a wee bit. Thanks, Walter, very much. Thanks very much.
So Richard Gough leads his men on the lap of honour, and Ali McCoy away towards the back of the pack of players, and I'm sure Walter would like to keep him here, but you just wonder, Ali McCoy must be looking around now, seeing so many new players arriving here, and he'll certainly enjoy this day.
Well, I think he's seen off so many in the past, because he just can't stop scoring goals, a guy. He's guaranteed you just about 20 every season, if not more. And it doesn't matter who you buy. They're lucky to get that quota every season.
So as the celebrations continue, Paul Cooney has been speaking to Paul Gascoigne.
Okay, Paul, what can we say?
No, I'm speechless. 1-0 up, and I thought we're going to be struggling. I was shaking for 90 minutes. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. The first goal, I was pleased with the first goal, and the second goal with the dribble. And we just had to keep the ball, and we got the penalty, and I begged with Coisty. I said I need to take it because I need to beat Juka. I need the £50.
Yeah.
But I'm pleased.
You needed that £50 so much.
Yeah.
Where did you find those reserves for the runs that you went on to get those first 2 goals?
I don't know, I just had to keep on going. I knew I wouldn't get back. So I had to just keep on going, and when I went in the box, I knew I just had to get in the box and they couldn't bring us down, and just kept me eye on the ball and made sure I hit the back of the net.
In a moment you're going to get your first championship. After all your years in football, this is your first
Well, I've
major
had 14
trophy.
operations and I deserve it more than anybody. As simple as that. I've come through it all. I've knocked back the critics, and I've got another 2 years here and I'm going to love it. And that's what it's all about.
Is that why you came here to Ibrox? You knew you had the confidence in yourself you could do it?
I knew how good I was, and I knew how capable I was. I'm just pleased. I'm pleased. The players, the Scottish players I played against, has been fantastic. And every time I play against them, they say good ball, good trick. And when I scored the second goal, a lot of them congratulated on it. And I'm pleased that we've done it. Simple as that. Celtic have pushed all the way, and I think the lads are pleased with that, because even though we've got the championship now, it's nice to get it even more with Celtic just behind us.
What about tonight then? Can you give us a hint of what you're going to be up to?
I don't know if anything will be happening after 10 o'clock without it.
Player of the year later on, we might see you there.
Hopefully, yeah. Alright, change your head, do it.
And the cup final as well. Paul, congratulations.
Thanks
Well
very
done this
much.
afternoon.
Cheers, Scotland. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
So the party continues here, and the Rangers players, including Brian Laudrup there, heading round past the room loan stand. Fantastic scenes here. Well, Rangers 46 times champions, have won the Scottish Cup 26 times, and of course the finalists again this year. They've won the League Cup on 19 occasions, and of course won the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1972, and they've contested another couple of those European finals. Now they look forward to European football again next season in the Champions League. There'll be a couple of important hurdles to be overcome on the way to that. The first one coming in August the 7th in the qualifying matches. Paul Gascoigne will miss out on those, but at the moment he's a happy man. He's got a cup final to look forward to. And what does the future hold for Ali McCoist? Is this the last we'll see him at Ibrox in a Rangers jersey? He certainly looks very emotional as he hands the trophy over to Paul Gascoigne.
I just wonder if that's a Sunderland shirt he's got there, Jerry, whether that's telling us something.
A word there with Stephen Wright, a young man brought from Aberdeen at the start of the season for £1 million, and who was so cruelly injured. But Rangers will be hoping to have him back this season. It's been a problem area for them. But McCoist and his thoughts there. Gascoigne, forever the court jester. And did you ever see such a contrast between two players, Gascoigne and McCoist?
Well, that also happened to me when I played my last game for Celtic at Ibrox in '83, and I remember the different emotions I had that day. We'd lost out in the championship in the final day to Dundee United, but the emotions are high. I was quite sombre in my approach, and the rest of the players were delighted we'd won 4-2 at Ibrox. It's a very emotional feeling. You can see in his face, you just wonder exactly what the future holds for this guy. I think it could be his last game.
The greatest goal scorer in the history of Rangers. Of that, there is no doubt. He's broken just about every record that was placed in front of him. And he's there with his great pal Ian Durrant.
It's a great time also for Walter Smith, Jerry. When I look back early in the season, the criticism this man was getting, the problems in Europe, the problems at home, and he was getting all the blame. And suddenly he's got them the title again.
Right, Paul Cooney now is speaking to the Rangers captain, Richard Gough.
Richard, do you want to sing along with the crowd?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I just want to thank our magnificent support. Once again, they just carried us through. 10 minutes to go. Fantastic. I'd just like to thank them very, very much.
Walter Smith has just said you've been an integral part of the 8 years, 8 in a row with Rangers. You may have been player of the year if you hadn't been injured for a while.
Oh, I'm just happy with the consistency of the team. The boys have done magnificently well, and once again, I'd just like to thank our crowd. They're fantastic.
What a day for the wee man here.
Oh, well, I hope he sees a couple more anyway.
Richard, congratulations. Go and enjoy the celebrations. Bedlam down here, Jim, as you can imagine.
So the Rangers players and management team go into the centre circle. And we are the champions. Booms over the public address system. Walter Smith, who orchestrates things so well in there, giving some advice, and Richard Gough, a proud captain and a proud father. And they're going to take a bow. It's a wonderful scene. Well, this could go on for hours yet. Not a single soul, well, apart from the couple of hundred Aberdeen fans who made the long journey south, have left the stadium. Players turn round. They've certainly been rehearsing for this moment.
I just wonder if Gascoigne going to go home within the next couple of days.
I saw Andy Gorham's little lad there. I don't think he'll ever be big enough for Paul Gascoigne's boots. He certainly isn't big enough for his hat. He's down over his face. But it is lovely to see all of these kids involved. Players like Ian Ferguson, who have been here for years now and contributed to this run, who missed out the latter half of the run because of injury. But they're all part of a very strong, a very determined squad. Peter Van Vossen there, who come in and, well, he hasn't quite settled. The word is that he might move on, but he must be hugely impressed by what he's witnessing here this afternoon.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. This is all part of it. When you get a taste of it, you just can't help wanting more. And I think Gough's always epitomised that. He just wants more and more of it.
Oh, wonderful scenes. And the T-shirts all bearing the number 8. Two real stalwarts there, Richard Gough and Archie Knox. Alan McLaren enjoying himself with Paul Gascoigne. And the supporters quite jubilant. Well, I remember we started this campaign here at Ibrox way back last August when Rangers played Kilmarnock. And my goodness, they battled Kilmarnock all the way that day. It was Stuart McCall who scored a late goal to give Rangers the 3 points. And they've been on a roller coaster ever since. And right through till this afternoon, given the hardest of games by Aberdeen, till that man stepped in to weave his magic. And again, the picture tells the story, but Ali McCoist can manage a smile. And as you can see in the background, the building work still going on here at Ibrox. Rangers continue to get bigger and bigger. Ali McCoist, meanwhile, has left the field as Archie Knox conducts the choir. And now Ian Durant leaves. And the players in general now begin to take the leave of this marvellous scene. Ibrox, by next season, will hold more than 50,000 fans. The new club deck there, which was opened a couple of years ago, is well filled, and the corners will be filled by the end of this season. So we'll hand back for these wonderful scenes to Jim White in the studio.
Well, what scenes indeed, Mark. What do you make of it all? You'd dearly love to have been involved, probably.
Marvellous, yeah. I think we said we was in for a good game. I thought it took a Rangers way, and I think everybody watching, you know, reiterate all
and
that.
To be fair, you said 3-1 at the outset.
I did. I came in, the first thing I said to you, it'd be 3-1.
Yeah, he was right, Steve. What about Gascoigne? Now, he brought them right back into it with a phenomenal goal to make it 2-1.
Yeah, well, Gascoigne's had a hell of a lot of patience throughout the day, and when things started to open up, he's just gone for it. In the first half, he was There wasn't much space for him, but you see there, he's run from his own half and finished with tremendous composure after holding off a couple of really strong challenges. Superb. It's his day.
What people forget as well, he played 90 minutes on Wednesday in an international game, and he's still going strong like that. And,
so you can't question his fitness.
You can't.
No. And then the penalty, Martin, there's only one guy going to take it in that field, and that was Gaza.
We had a bit of a debate about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, but you won.
Well, Jury went flying. It was a penalty, and, well, a cool finish, Steve.
Yeah. Guy, you'd always favour Gascoigne in that position against any goalkeeper virtually, but I think a special mention to Andy Gorham, who gave Gascoigne the opportunity to be man of the match today with that save in the first half against Scott Booth. OK, 3-1 at finish. Mark, Stevie, thanks a lot. And so that is it. We're breathless. One of the most exciting championship races in the history of Scottish football has come to its conclusion. Rangers have won their 8th consecutive Premier League title. Congratulations to them on a quite magnificent achievement. Commiserations to a great Celtic team who pushed them all the way. But in the end, Rangers, undoubtedly, are the winners again. From all of us on the team, from Steve and Mark, after a quite tremendous afternoon of live football, bye for now.